Hey guys, this video is to help you if you're stuck on number 3. This one's a little unique because that's the one I told you. It was number 3 and number 7, where you have a fraction inside of a fraction, and that's what messes up people. So let's get started. Number 3, how much time does it take for a bird flying at a speed of 45 kilometers per hour to travel a distance of 1,800 kilometers? So if we break it down, it's asking how much time. So time is a question mark. We don't know the time. It's flying at a speed of 45 kilometers per hour. So I'm going to write here the speed, 45 kilometers per hour. And then the distance of 1,800 kilometers, 1,800 kilometers. So I wrote here distance is 1,800 kilometers. Now, how do we do the formula? Well, we look at the speed triangle. Because we don't know the time, see, t is a question mark. I'm going to go to speed triangle and I'm going to cover the t, and there's your formula. Okay, it's d over s. So the formula is, in order to solve for t, because again we don't know what t is, you cover the t and it tells you it's d over s. So time is equal to distance over speed. See, d over s, cover it up, we got d over s. Okay, so that's our formula, and here's what we have. Now, before we begin, I wrote it like this, 45 kilometers per hour, because it was written like that. When you see 45 kilometers per, it means like slash hour. But I'm going to rewrite this into a formal fraction. I'm going to put my numerator and my denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this right here. It's going to be 45 kilometers divided by hour. See, now I wrote it as an appropriate fraction. I'm going to plug all my numbers in. So time is equal to distance divided by speed. So I'm going to put distance, 1,800 kilometers, that goes on the top. So time is 1,800, I put on the top. But on the bottom is your speed, and this was my speed, 45. See, it's a fraction, and it goes on the bottom on the denominator. So we got your numerator and denominator. It's what divides it. I'm going to put this in a parentheses to show you. This is like one number. Parentheses 45 kilometers an hour. You see, the problem is that we have a fraction inside of a fraction. So this is the numerator. This is a top number. And this whole thing is a denominator. But there's an easier way to break it down. Like this. This line means division. So another way to read it, instead of saying 1,800 kilometers over 45 kilometers an hour, another way to write it, or read out loud, is 1,800 kilometers divided by 45 kilometers per hour. This means right here, divide by this. I'm going to rewrite it here. I'm going to put this number first, 1,800 kilometers, then this line divided by, and then this entire fraction divided by this. Okay, so far so good. Now, because I already have one fraction here, in order to be fair, let's make this one into a fraction as well. So now they're both fractions. Now they match. They both have numerators. They both have denominators. Now, a little bit of flashback. You probably learned this in pre-algebra. Whenever you divide a fraction, there is a shortcut. Maybe you are doing this. Maybe you're doing 1 over 2 divided by 3 over 5. Okay, the way to solve it, you should have been taught that what you do is you could turn this into a multiplication if you flip these numbers over and you do the reciprocal. So this division becomes multiplication. If you flip this one, you put the 5 on top, 3 on the bottom, and this is what you get. See, I turned the division, and turned it into a multiplication. And 3 over 5 became 5 over 3. And then you solve this, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. It's a lot easier. How do you do that? You multiply the top with the top. So 1 times 5 is 5. And you multiply the bottom with the bottom. 2 times 3 is 6. So you get 5, 6. Okay, once again, 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. You multiply the numerator with the numerator, denominator with denominator. You can't do that with division. With division, you got to, turn this into multiplication and then flip these numbers around. That's what I'm going to do here. I am going to take this division and I'm going to change it to multiplication. But I'm going to have to put the hours on top, and I'm going to have to put all of this on the bottom. And I'm going to rewrite my problem. So I'm going to rewrite it here. 1,800 kilometers over 1 times hour over 45 kilometers. Because remember, I took the 45 kilometers on top, put them on the bottom. Now, why would you do that? Number one, it's the only way to multiply. Or the only way to divide a fraction. Sorry, whenever you divide a fraction, you have to flip it and turn division into multiplication, and you got to flip it. That's the proper way to do it. And look what it does. It allows us to cross cancel. There's kilometers on top and kilometers on the bottom. The kilometers cancel each other out. What you're left with is, I'll write it right here, 1,800 times hour gives you 1,800 hours divided by, and then what's 1 times 45, not kilometers, because remember, we crossed out kilometers. Kilometers went bye-bye. No more kilometers. 1 times 45 is 45. Put that in the calculator. 1,800 divided by 45, I believe it's 40. And then we're left with hour. That's your answer. See? So the main thing was, going back to everything, it was this part right here. You had a fraction inside of a fraction. So again, we rewrite it. 1,800 over 45 km an hour would be 1,800 divided by this, and then we do the reciprocal part, okay? Number 7 is very similar. Why? Because number 7 is using this form. This is whenever you're solving for time, time is equal to distance over speed. You're gonna have to do that extra step, the reciprocal, where you flip the numbers and you turn this division to multiplication. Because the problem is speed is always in a fraction. Speed, see, it's kilometers per hour or miles per hour or meters per second. It's always in a fraction, so you end up getting a fraction within a fraction. Only number 7 is solving for t. All the other problems are either distance is equal to speed times time, or it will be speed is equal to distance over time. Everything else. But number 3 and number 7 were this formula right here, and it's kind of tricky. So try to do number 7 before we have class, and I could go over it with you guys, okay? All right, see you in class next time.